Bonjour and welcome to France. Welcome to the Circuit Le Castellet, aka Paul Ricard, for the French Grand Prix. The second time we've been here at Paul Ricard, with the other three French GPs being held at Manicourt. The circuit has a total of 167 layouts, but only one of them, that being the one we're racing on, being FIA Grade 1. The track is commonly used as a testing track, a bit like Barcelona Catalunya circuit is. The circuit length of 5.842 kilometers, 53 laps, 15 corners. Lap record set by Franco Lopez in the first race here in 2018 at 129.6. Of course, a number of overtaking spots on this track, turn 1 being one of them, and the only other main one, I guess you could say, being the chicane at the end of the back straight, which I know divides opinion really. Previous 4 French GP winners have included Kélin Bryce, remember that name, 2006, Joseph Willers in 2007, Bournonville 2008, and of course last season Franco Lopez being the winner of the return of the French Grand Prix 10 seasons after the last race. The tyres used for this race will be the hard tyres. And the practice results, you can see on the screen, it was a Mercedes 1-2, and there was literally almost nothing between them, and there was something 1,000th between them. And 78 thousandths of Franco Gambler the scale behind in 4th. Oliver Glazebrook 5th for McLaren, despite being last in the DTM Championship. But this is the starting grid, and despite Mercedes' dominance in practice, it was the 2 Ferraris that have taken the front row. Joseph Willers on pole position with Laura Chung alongside. On row 2 we have Amar Carr for Mercedes and Miguel Scal for Red Bull. That is row 2 of the grid. Row 3 we have Franco Lopez for Mercedes and Kirosima de Rosa 6th for McLaren. That is row 3 of the grid. On row 4 we have Paolino Tomaselli 7th for McLaren and Franco Gamba 8th for Red Bull. Best qualifying from Franco Gamba, you have to say. On row 5 of the grid we have Andrea Federi for Alfa Romeo and Roland Moitian 10th for Racing Point. On row 6 we have Gerard Fosbury, good qualifying by him. Jay McKenzie alongside him for Renault in 12th position. On row 7 we have the 2 Toro Rossos, Matteo Catalan and David Kupok. On row 8 of the grid we have Evan Byrne and Chris Chatfield. So Chatfield not having the greatest of qualifying, really way off in Q2. On row 9 of the grid we have Rosetta Martinez for Manor and Lean Campana for Williams. So good qualifying by Martinez, you have to say. On row 10 of the grid is Gabriel Gomez for Alfa Romeo and Felix Sontag for Williams. And on the final row of the grid we have Maxime Tikoff for Manor and George Roque, and a very bad qualifying, although he was unlucky that the fact he got held up in traffic on his laps. All of them, I might add. But weather for this race, it will be a dry race, 0% chance of rain. It's going to be sunny, no surprise. So let's get this show on the road. Of course, this track known for its colourful layout, really, being if you go wide, then there's lots of blue and red to go across. But anyway, the 5 lights are now coming on. And we're underway for the French Grand Prix, and Willers seemingly has got a good start. Chung is still alongside him to head towards the first corner. Chung is going to try and get it around the outside. I think she might even take the lead here, and she does. What a start by Laura Chung. She takes the lead. Willers down to second, and could be under attack from the Mercedes possibly. Oh no, Gal is now attacking Carr, and will he make the move through? The answer is no, he doesn't, so he can't make it through there. But what a start for Laura Chung. That's exactly what she needed, and you can see Joseph Willers has got a heavy fuel load, so I don't think he's really going to be able to attack Chung. Looking at position for the start, De Ross has moved ahead of Lopez actually into 5th, so he's made a good start. Looking at the backfield, there's Tikoff, Mackenzie's up to 10th, Federi up to 7th, he's gained 2 positions. Meanwhile, Gal is attacking Carr coming into the chicane, side by side between the Brit and the Hungarian, and Gal is through, and that's exactly what he needed to do. He's already up into 3rd. As we look through the rest of the order, there's Gamba 8th, there's Mackenzie in 10th, Tomaselli in 9th. We'll look through the rest of the field. Coming through the chicane, Roque getting 1 position from the start. Meanwhile, Lopez already trying to overtake his teammate here, and it's very close, and Lopez does make it through up into P4. So for Carr, it's been a pretty disastrous start. Maybe he's in the same boat as Joseph Willers. He might have heavy fuel. This is the onboard from Franco Lopez, just steaming past Carr there, and that is actually an overtaking spot, as long as you get a good enough exit out of the chicane and have the balls to keep the foot flat to the floor to get through. Meanwhile, this is Gal already on the back of Joseph Willers coming across the line as Chung, no surprise, sets the fast lap. Gal now on the inside of Willers into the first corner. And is he through? The answer is yes, he's through. So he's now up into P2, and now Willers already down to P3, and we'll see actually if he can hold on Franco Lopez behind. Meanwhile, Gamba not having the best of start, stuck behind De Rosa as they head towards turn 3, and can he make the move on the inside? The answer is yes, Gamba is through up into 7th position. Now the two McLarens are going to be fighting over each other, Tomaselli and De Rosa. This is the battle for 8th, and Mackenzie is just behind them in 10th. So already we've seen a few movements at the start of this race. As we now look at the two McLarens, this is Tomaselli on the back of De Rosa, and he might even make a move into the chicane here. He's in the slipstream. Slipstream very key here, and he's now on the inside of De Rosa, and this will be a very easy move, and De Rosa already down to 9th before the chicane, and Tomaselli is through up into 8th position. So De Rosa down to 9th, and now he's got Jay Mackenzie in the Renault right behind him, so we could see another move possibly very soon. Meanwhile, there's a side-by-side there between that was David Kupok and Jared Fosbury, or Kupok trying to keep it on the inside of Fosbury, and I think he's just about there, but Fosbury holds up the line. Meanwhile, Byrne battling with Rosetta Martinez, who's actually made a good start. He's moved up a couple of positions, and so far, actually, I have to say, it's all kept very clean so far. I know it's only been 2 laps, but it's been clean, no collisions at all yet, so we'll wait and see when I have just jinxed it. But so far, Chung has got the lead, and is doing exactly what she needed to do. It's the perfect start for her, really, as she goes across the line, taking the fastest lap. Meanwhile, Lopez now on the back of Joseph Willows. This is the battle for 3rd. Lopez on the inside, and he's through. So very easy there for Joseph Willows. So, unfortunately, Willows on a different strategy to Chung. As you can see, her fuel is a lot lighter than Willows, so it's going to be probably a 2-stop for Willows. Probably going to be a 3 as he goes a little bit wide there coming through turn 3. You can see he missed the apex by a long way, and that could allow our car to close up behind as well if he's not careful. Meanwhile, Mackenzie has got past actually De Rosa for 9th position there, as you can see. So De Rosa down to 10th, lost 4 positions. Mackenzie up 3, Federi up 3, Gamba up 1, but Federi might even move ahead of Carr actually up into P5. Federi on the inside of our car coming in towards the chicane, and Federi is through up into P5, so what a start by Andrea Federi. I know he's on light fuel, but even so, doing a good job so far, gaining 4 positions. Now Franco Gamba, who has gained 1 position from where he started, he's going to try and gain another one by getting past Amakar in front of him. So as we look at Miklos Gal, who is 2 seconds off of Laura Chung, and who's about 2 seconds ahead of Lopez too, so the perfect gap between each driver, really. So as we look at Gal coming down towards the final section of the lap, meanwhile this is seeing Roke down still in 21st position, stuck behind Felix Sontag. Gal coming through the final corner, and we'll see what the gap is between him and Chung out front. So as they go across the line, and Chung sets the fastest lap. So at the moment Chung has got the advantage. Lopez managing to set a personal best lap as well. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba now on the inside of Armar Carr. This is into turn 1, and he's through. So Carr is down to 7th now. Franco Gamba making the best start he needs to do. Meanwhile, this is Byrne passing Moitian for 12th into turn 1. Good move by him. So Martinez, who again is not too far behind as well, so I wonder if Martinez could possibly try and make an overtake as well. But so far, a good start for the Renaults, as Chatfield there defending from Lean Campana, and Sontag down there in 21st. I think Roke has got past him. Meanwhile, Federi is now trying to go after Willows in front, actually, on low fuel, and Willows obviously on heavy fuel, so we could see another battle coming up soon. As we look through the rest of the order, the gap 1.9 Gal to Chung, but he is getting away from Lopez behind him. As we look now at Kupok, who was attacking De Rosa, coming into the chicane there, but unable to make the move stick. As we see the onboard view of Kupok coming in towards the chicane in the slipstream. See how much speed they're carrying, and just unable to make it stick there. And Kupok getting a little bit out of shape there, but fortunately no harm done. So as we look now at Federi, who's on the back of Joseph Willows, coming in towards the chicane. Now this could be a move here. And Federi now on the inside of Willows, coming up towards the chicane, and I think as the camera crew... Oh, and De Rosa is out. And De Rosa is out, so what has happened here? So he was defending from Kupok behind, and gets hit by Kupok there. And so, unfortunately, Kupok taking De Rosa out, and unfortunately damaging his car in the process. Excuse me. But, as we look now at Andrea Federi, right behind Joseph Willows, coming up towards the first corner, but this is not good because I think the yellow flags are still out here. So Federi is going to make a move on the inside of Willows here, and the yellow flag is out, and I'm pretty sure that is a stone wall penalty for Federi right there. Overtaking Willows under yellow flags, and there it is from race control. He receives a 5-second time penalty for overtaking Joseph Willows under waved yellow flags. Now we look at Franco Gamba, who is on the back of Willows. This is the battle for P5, and I think Willows is just going to be a sitting duck here, as Gamba now making a move on the inside, and this will be a pretty easy move for him, I think. And yep, Gamba is through, up into P5. Willows unfortunately just falling back down the order. Meanwhile, my car is behind as well, whose car's on heavy fuel too. So I wonder if the McLaren behind of, I believe that is Tomaselli, of course Tomaselli, because De Rosso's out obviously. But as we look through, there's De Rosso's car still being moved out of the way, so the yellow flags will still be out there for at least another lap for most of these guys. Mackenzie at the moment on his own in 9th, Byrne now up into 10th actually, so he's now in the points. Both Renaults into the points. Car is gaining, I think, on Willows in front of him. Meanwhile, we're looking at Rosetta Martinez, who I think has also received a 5-second time penalty, and he has, for overtaking Renault under waved yellow flags, so that's 2 penalties there. But the yellow flags have now gone. Meanwhile, we're looking at Roque trying to pass Gabriel Gomez coming into the chicane here, and Roque dives on the inside and isn't able to make the move stick there. So coming off the chicane, if he gets a good enough run, he could possibly make a move, but he's fallen way too far back, so that is not going to happen now. So as we look at the rest of the order, so Byrne actually, Byrne has passed Mackenzie. Wow, I didn't think Byrne would catch Mackenzie that quickly, but he has. And Byrne's on light field, so that explains why. But even so, he's caught up Mackenzie pretty quickly, and no problem there. Byrne on the inside of the Polish driver and through up into 9th position. So as we look at the Mercedes here of, I think that's Franco Lopez on his own. Meanwhile, this is Roque trying to pass Matteo Catalan. This is for 15th place. So he's passed Gomez, and now Roque on the inside of Catalan, coming in towards the chicane. And is Roque through? The answer is yes. I think he's going to get the run out the outside of the chicane now. He gets the run off the corner, and he's through up into P15. So a pretty good move there. Now Catalan under pressure from Gomez, under pressure from Sontag as well, as they head towards the next corner. It's almost 3 wide there. Going through there, Sontag does well to back out then. That could have been very sketchy round a flat-out corner of the circuit. Fortunately, no harm was done. So as we look at Catalan now, right behind Gabriel Gomez, Sontag behind, and so is Leon Campana. So battles going on throughout the mid-pack of this race. Obviously out front, it's all spaced out, nothing really much happening. But there's certainly action happening throughout the field. This is the onboard with Sontag, right behind Gomez and Catalan. You can see Sontag was thinking about it. He was thinking about it, but good for him, he backed out because he wasn't really going to... It just wasn't going to be favourable for him, really. So that is good for him. So we're looking at Gal. The gap, Gal to Chung has gone up a bit. It's actually up to nearly 2.5 seconds. However, Gal is clearly quicker than Lopez. Now actually down to 2.3. About 5 seconds the gap was. Here is Fosbury and Chatfield. Chatfield on the inside of Fosbury. Oh, you could see that happening there. Fortunately, actually, Fosbury gets away without any damage there. That was very lucky between the two Haas drivers, but Chatfield doing what he needed to do to make the move stick, although would have preferred probably if he didn't do it that way. But Fosbury so lucky that his car didn't go over there, and also that he didn't get any damage. So Haas, good that Sunday can breathe a sigh of relief, although he won't now, actually, now that Fosbury has been overtaken by Roque coming out of the exit of turn 2. So Roque now up into 14th, so now Steiner will be angry. Very, very angry. So as we look at Roque, who's actually pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. He's obviously on the 3-slot strategy, and just imagine if he had actually managed to qualify higher, probably would have gained a few more positions, and been in a little bit more of a favourable position. But as we look at Roque, who's now going to go past, it looks like Chatfield coming into the chicane, side by side between the two. Would he make a move on the inside? He's going to try it, Roque. And oh, wow. That was so close to contact there. How they managed to get away with that, I'm not sure, but that was so close. Meanwhile, I think that was Byrne, who's on the back of Tomaselli for 8th there. Andrea Federi, having had a good stint so far, now is pitting for the first time. Of course, we're using the old pit exit. Of course, the current pit exit in real life is just before the final corner, where you'd go off to the right. But on this track, it's the old one, where coming up the straight, you'd jink to the right, but it'd be after the final corner. But anyway, Federi is in, and it's definitely going to be a 3-stop for him. He's not on much fuel. Meanwhile, Byrne passes Tomaselli for 7th coming into the first corner, but he's pitting this lap anyhow. Federi, I'll be interested to see where he comes out on the circuit. He's the first one to pit. Of course, Roque's actually pitting this lap as well, but Federi comes out in 11th, so he comes out actually in clear air. So for Federi, that's actually worked out pretty well in the end. So as you look at Franco Lopez at the moment running on his own in 3rd, Franco Gamba a few seconds off in 4th, not really having any impact on him. So as they're coming through the chicane is Lopez. Pit call for Evan Byrne this lap. Of course, Roke has just come out of the pits, and he's down in 20th position. So as you look at Byrne coming towards the chicane, he's closing up to the back actually of Armagh Car in front of him, but it won't matter actually. Kupok does get ahead of Roke actually after the stop, but Byrne could have a chance maybe of, I suppose, undercutting Car. There are, I believe, cars on the one stop, so it's going to be interesting to see how the one stoppers do. It looks like Willows and Lopez are the guys at the front that are doing the one stop. I don't know if anyone else is. I've not seen anything as of yet. But as we look at Byrne coming through the last sector of the lap, coming through the left-hander there, now heading towards the final couple of corners, and he now goes to the left. He's closing right up to the back of Armagh Car as he comes around the final corner, turn 17, and now jigs to the right and goes into the pits. So Byrne is in. So as we look at him coming into the pits, and let's see where he comes out in the pack after his stop. And let's see, actually, I imagine this will be a 3-stop strategy for him as well. And so he comes out, and 20 laps, yeah, that'll probably be about 3-stopper, I would say. I suppose, I mean, he could go to the end if he does the second one, but who knows? Who knows? So Byrne now comes out of the pits, and he's going to come, looks like, behind this big gaggle of cars. And he comes out in, I think it's about 16th or 17th position. So meanwhile, battle between the Alpha of Gomez going past, I think that was Jared Fosbury, into the first corner. And now Fosbury's going to get overtaken by Catalan, it looks like, as well. And Catalan is through, I think. Yes, he is. And Byrne does, in fact, drop down to 17th. So he drops down behind all this traffic, which I don't think will help him very much. But as long as they're pitting soon, then he won't have to bother. Campana's pitting in probably about 3 or 4 laps time, so that's not going to be too long actually. But as we're on board with the American coming on to the front straight, now as they head towards the chicane, he's not close enough to make a move obviously. Gal I should say, the gap between the two cars, Chung and Gal, is about 2.5 seconds, 2.6. So again, Chung seemingly having the pace over Gal, but of course we'll wait to see what happens when it comes to the pit stops. Campana trying once again to get past Jared Fosbury there, but unable to do so. So as you look at them coming through this long right-hander, and meanwhile we swap back to Franco Lopez, looking at Tomaselli in 7th. All the cars very much spaced out, as Martinez, who's running in 9th, is going to pit for his first stop of the race. So as he comes in, and let's see what pit stop he does, how quickly it will be, and if it will be on the 2 or the 3. I wonder. I imagine he might. You could go for the 2 You could go for the 2 here, because if you put in about over 20 laps of fuel, you could easily do it. And no, it's not going to be much. So about 16. So it looks like it probably will be the 3-stop for Martinez, but we'll see. So he comes out of the pits, and he will come out in, I think it was 90th place. And oh, Fosbury's out, and Jared Fosbury is out, and it's the infamous turn 1 once again. This time it was Lean Campana who was on the back of him, trying to make a move into the corner, and yeah, you could just see that was going to happen there. And unfortunately Fosbury is the latest victim of turn 1. So as we look at Gal now coming through, and the gap Chung is, again, it's not really coming down, it's about 2.7 seconds. Meanwhile Felix Sontag getting way out of shape, going wide there. And we've seen crashes before. I think it was Enis Brajki when he rejoined onto the track last season, when he had that big rejoin crash. But fortunately, no harm done. I mean, this was Evan Byrne who I think made the move past Sontag there with Sontag's mistake, so that was pretty simple. That's one less car for him to deal with. Chung and Gao, so the gap is pretty much, it's not really going above 2.7. It's ranging between 2.5 and 2.7. Meanwhile, this is Gomez who went a little bit wide there, coming through turn 3 and 4. So coming through turn 3 on the back of Chris Chatfield, and then gets a little bit out of shape, and actually does a big slide, a big drift through the corner there. But it's not going to help him, unfortunately. Try and pass Chatfield in front of him. As we look now at Nicholas Scout, who is coming through, and Jay McKenzie, and McKenzie's got a problem, and it's a transmission failure for Jay McKenzie, and he is out. It's been a very, very unlucky season for him, and once again, his luck bites the dust. It's just not been the luckiest time for him, and he is out of the French Grand Prix. So that is the third retirement of the race. I was about to say second, but third retirement. So that means there's 19 cars now left in this race. So as you look at the marshal coming to push his car away.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
And there's the confirmation. Transmission failure for the pole. And yet coming up straight there, the car then shuts down. And that was his race done and dusted on lap 15 of the race. So there we go. And you can see Mackenzie pulling off to the right there. Of course, it still baffles me that there's 167 layouts of this circuit. It's just obscene, really. But meanwhile, we're looking now at Laura Chung, who is coming in to make her first stop of the race. And the gap to Gal, actually, out in front, now extends to 3 seconds. I don't know if Gal had any traffic to deal with. It's actually the biggest gap it's been in a while. Actually, now up to 3.5 seconds. So Chung really coming into her own at this moment in time on a looks like a personal best lap. As she comes around, or it might even be the fastest lap, 'cause I'm pretty sure she's still the one who has the fastest lap at this moment in time. So we look now at Chung heading towards the final corner, turn 17, and then she'll jink to the right, which she does, and now she'll come in for her first stop of the race. And let's see, Chung comes in. And let's see how quick the stop will be. And it's going to be a 2-stop. It's going to be a long stint actually for Chung. So it's obviously definitely a 2, if you couldn't tell already. And although it's a bit of a slow stop actually, 8 seconds. Although, yeah, that's about average I guess. But most of them do it in under 6, in about 6 seconds. So pit call as well for Franco Gamba in the Red Bull, and Chung is going to come on. It looks like, is it in front of Willows? And the answer is yes, no, and oh no, Willows. Oh, that was close. I think Willows knew he had to back out there because they're on different strategies, and thank God he did. Chung would not have been happy had Willows passed, which fortunately he didn't. Meanwhile, Franco Gamba now in for his first stop of the race, and let's see, it's going to be a 2-stop for him as well. So he comes in, changes all 4 tyres, that's all done. 7.3, quicker than Chung's stop. And he'll come out, looks like, behind a few cars. So at the moment Chung's still ahead of Willows. And Gamba will come out, it looks like, in 7th position, maybe even 8th if Federi's there. Nope, it is going to be 7th position, so Federi is going to be pitting in a few laps' time as well. Well, I say in a few laps' time, about probably 6 or 7. Maybe with his fuel. Meanwhile, this is a battle for the lower reaches of the points. This is, I believe, Moichin battling with Chatfield, battling with Byrne. This is for Knight. Chatfield all over the back of Moichin coming into the first corner. Nearly contact. It was very close there, but fortunately no harm done. Although Chatfield's got a much better run off the corner than Moichin, so, and this could be the pass here for ninth place. And yes, he's up into ninth. Good move there by Chris Chatfield. Up past Reda Moichin for ninth, and I think Moichin got a little bit out of shape there as well. Byrne now has the opportunity to get past Moichin coming on towards the front straight, and so he's right in the slipstream of the Hungarian, and he's now going to go on the inside of Moichin, and up into 10th Byrne should go, and you can guess the rest. And no, maybe not, actually, no, Byrne doesn't quite make it stick, actually. Meanwhile, Gal is into the pits for his first stop of the race, and actually that pit stop was pretty quick, actually, 6.1 seconds. So that was quick. So I wonder what the gap will be between Chung and him coming out of the pits. And Gal, is he going to come out ahead of Chung? This could be very interesting. Oh! And Chung almost goes into the back of Gal, but Gal, crucially, with that quicker pit stop, comes out in front of Laura Chung. So this was the overcut. Worked for Nicolas Gal there, and wow, so now we have a proper battle on our hands between Chung and Gal. It looked like Chung had it over the back of Gal there, but that pit stop by Red Bull showing that they're good in the game as in they are real life. It got them out in front of Chung, and both Ferraris actually crucially as well. As meanwhile Byrne now passes Chatfield for ninth, coming through turns 1 and 2 there. He's up on the position. Actually, Chatfield is going to be coming into the pits this lap as well. But and you can see the gap actually, Gal extending it to 2.2 there, so that's worked out very well for Gal and his team. And of course for Gal, this would be great for him to finally take a win. It will be his first win of the season, his first win in a long while, and he would definitely have deserved it considering the fact. I mean, some people say he shouldn't have been on the grid this season. He was lucky to get it, and it was close, but he's definitely proving that he should be worthy of that seat. Meanwhile, we're looking at Paulino Tomaselli in 5th. There's Lopez in 6th. Gamba in 7th. Federi in 8th. Meanwhile, Moichin is battling Matteo Catalan. This is for P10. Now coming on to the straight as actually Kupok is coming into the pits, and actually so is Felix Sontag behind as well. But Gal at the moment leading and is extending the gap. It's about, I think, 3.7 seconds the gap, Gal to Chung, as you can see there on the def panel. So Sontag is in, of course, as we look at Gal coming towards the sector, and yep, stays about 3.6, a tiny bit down, but not barely anything. But Gal now coming out of some traffic. You are Chatfield trying to pass Titkov into the first corner, unable to do so there. And so now, although Chatfield gets a much better run off the corner, and is set to take the move into turn 3, I think. And yep, you can see Chatfield has moved ahead of Titkov there, as the camera decided to switch to the Ferrari of Laura trying in second place, which of course was much better than seeing an actual overtake. So we look at Moichin, who is in 11th. He's dropped a bit behind Catalan. Roque actually is behind in 12th position at this moment in time, and Moichin again struggling so far this race. So as we look at the two Pink Panthers coming through the corner there, one after the other. Roque definitely closing on Moichin, the gap now less than a second. Roque taking the time out of Moichin there. So now as we look at Laura Chong at the moment in second, she's in a comfortable second, that's for sure, but just annoyed at the fact that Gal has got ahead. Although, judging by Gal's pace, he probably would have overtaken her anyway, even if he had come up behind. And oh, Gamba makes a huge mistake there and loses the place to Andrea Federi there. That's a very unusual error there, coming through turns 3 and 4, and then coming through to turn 5. You can see it's a massive drift on there, goes wide onto the runoff area, which unfortunately doesn't do well for your tyres. That allows Andrea Federi behind to go through up another position, although they are on different strategies. Federi is going to be pitting pretty soon, but Federi said thank you very much, goes past his fellow Italian, and is now temporarily up into 7th place. Meanwhile, this is the Mercedes of Franco Lopez, who is behind Tomaselli. This is the battle for 5th position, and he's now on the inside, and this will be a very easy overtake for the Mercedes past the McLaren, or will it? As Tomaselli trying to put up a bit of a fight, but Lopez will have the run around the outside of the corner and is going to take the position. So he's now up into 5th. Good move there by Lopez past Tomaselli for 5th. Tomaselli, who himself is going to be pitting in a few laps' time. I think he's going to be on the 3 as well by the looks of it, but I could be wrong. This is Kupok, who's on the back of Gabriel Gomez, coming up towards the first corner, and we could see another incident if we're not careful. Kupok trying to make a move through there, but Gomez blocks him off and denies him the opportunity to make the move. So now we look at the Alfa Romeo of Gomez. They're still defending from Kupok. Meanwhile, we look now at Chung at the moment, still in P2, coming through the first corner. Of course, Willow's dropping far back from her, being on a different strategy and all. So as we look now at Willow's coming up in 3rd, there's Lopez who's gaining on Carr in front of him. So as we look at the order, gaps coming down everywhere, a lot of them spaced out, not really much overtaking at the moment. There's not really much at the front. In the mid-pack and behind, there seems to be a lot of action, but at the front, it's completely the opposite, you could say. Federi actually is into the pits for his second stop of the race, and I think, as I imagine, he's going to be on the 3, so he's going to have to pit once more, which, as he comes out of the pits, he's going to come out, looks like, in 9th position, I think. So as we look at Martinez now coming into the pits, Roque trying to get past, oh no, oh dear, and turn 1 strikes yet again. Roque and Catalan there once again making contact, and unfortunately they're both going to now have to go into the pits. So unfortunate for both drivers there, not what they would have wanted at all. And turn 1 struck again for about, I think that's the 3rd time, possibly even 4th, I think, but for at least the 3rd time something's happened at turn 1. There was the contact there, Roque spinning Catalan, and then of course they make contact, losing their wings. So now they both have to go around almost a whole lap now to get it repaired, and that will not do them any favours at all. So as we look now at Maxine Titkoff going past the debris, and oh, with a bit of contact there as Kupok goes into the back of Gabriel Gomez there. Meanwhile, Miglis Gowers again still leading at this moment in time, and he's not going to be getting up to this traffic for a bit yet anyway. But as we look at Franco Lopez, who is now behind Armar Carr, and Carr, I would imagine, should be letting Lopez through pretty quickly here, because of course they're on different strategies, and Lopez is clearly much quicker than Carr. As we look at them heading towards turns 1 and 2, you can see Carr getting a little bit twitchy out of shape there. Lopez clearly obviously the quicker car here. And so now he's going to try and go on the inside here, although Carr's really defending, not letting him through, so no team orders here, clearly. But Lopez now all over the back of Carr as they head towards the back straight and in towards turn, I think that was turn 6 or whatever, heading through turn 7, yep. Now onto the straight, and now this is Lopez's best chance to make the move on the inside of his teammate Carr. Lopez now in the slipstream, moving out to the left, heading in towards the chicane, although this could be very close. Oh, it is! It's a bit too close! And Armar Carr is out of the French Grand Prix. Oh, there's going to be some words after this race, and that doesn't do good for either in the Constructors or, more importantly, the Drivers' Championship. And for Franco Lopez especially, he is going to be fuming with how that has gone. You can see Carr really moved to the left, and Lopez was on the inside there, and I mean, I don't know who you'd blame for that one. I mean, you could say Lopez could have backed out, but Carr moved across in there and didn't really give him much room, so Carr, in a way, kind of that was forced on him. But anyhow, I mean, looking for this angle, I mean, Carr does move over, and I mean, I don't really know what to say. Like, I think it's probably a race against. I think both drivers could have easily avoided that one. Coming to the chicane there, but yeah, Lopez trying to avoid the curb, trying to get avoid getting too much curb. The incident between the two will be under investigation. So as we look at Mercedes there, of Lopez having to go to the pits now with his damaged front wing. As I said, words will be said in the paddock afterwards between the two, and of course the team boss Toto Wolff. But at least Lopez is still in the race. Relatively quick stop despite the wing change. That was a 7.8 actually. That's pretty quick, you have to say. So as now we're looking at Paulino Tomaselli coming in, and the question is, will he go to the end or will he pit again, is the big question. So as we look at Tomaselli in the pits, there we go. Change all 4 tyres, and 10:20, and yep, that will be going to the end. So Tomaselli will be doing a 2-stopper today. So 7.2 was the stop. So meanwhile Evan Byrne is coming in, so I wonder if he'll go to the end or not. So here we go, we are about to find out, as Federi now comes out in 5th position. Of course Tomaselli will be going to the end, and actually Byrne is not going to the end. So Tomaselli does go to the end, but Byrne decides not to. The fresher tyres, he's going the route of just getting on the fresher tyres. Is going to be a lot quicker than trying to make it to the end, which I see, but who knows if this is going to work out or not. We're going to find out as the race goes on. Byrne comes out meanwhile in 8th position, so he's in a pretty solid place at this moment in time. Roland Moyton actually set to come in for a stop as well. Well, I should say a stop, his first and I believe his only stop of the race. Meanwhile, Gow's trying to get through a lot of traffic here. He's trying to go around the outside now on the inside of Felix Sontag into the final corner there. And that was very, very sketchy indeed. Fortunately, no damage done, but that could have been a whole lot worse. But Gow's still leading. Gap to Chung actually now 7 seconds. So it is quite a bit now. Of course, Gao will lose that gap because he's having to get through all this traffic. But then, of course, Chung will have to be doing the same as well, trying to get past all this traffic. As Gao now trying to lap the Manor here, which he does. Almost goes into the Alpha in front. That was very, very close. That was, I think, the Alpha of Gabriel Gomez there. That could have gone a whole lot worse. Fortunately, it didn't. And now he does lap Gomez, and Titkoff now under pressure from the Williams behind. But actually, he's going to be pitting this lap anyway. But Sontag now trying to pass Titkoff, coming in towards the first chicane. Meanwhile, the Forcinia behind of, I believe that is Roland Moyton, trying to do the same move as well. And Titkoff goes wide. Martinez managed to keep ahead. No, actually, it was George Roque, I should say, that he was trying to keep behind. But as I said, Titkoff will be pitting this lap, so there won't be too much. There won't be as much chaos as there is going right now. Roke trying to make a move on the inside here of Martinez. Wasn't going to happen. But as we look through, as there's Chung actually about to come up to this gaggle of cars, Tikoff at least will go in the pit, so she'll have one less car to deal with. But meanwhile, looking at Freckle Lewis all the way down in 7th position, of course. But as we look now at Nicholas Gal, who's leading, he's got through, I think, all of that traffic. So now he should be free to feel good, and he can get his fade on. So as you look now, as Tikoff goes into the pits, and so now Roke up into P15, but he's going to try and make a move on the inside of the manor. And oh, he does, as Moitin comes out of the pits there, and Roke managing to make the move stick there up into 13th. So he gained essentially 3 places on one straight. So that was top quality work there from the Racing Point crew. You can see coming out the pits, and then of course having to slow down the manner there of Martinez. Unfortunately, that worked out a treat, really. But now, actually, Martinez does go back past Moichin, so, but even so, he helped Roke a lot there, and I think Roke will definitely be very appreciative of that. So, as we look now at Laura Chung, who's got through most of this pack of cars. So, as we look now, as Chung goes past Roke, laps him there, coming onto the back straight. Meanwhile, this is Sontag on the back of Gabriel Gomez. This is the battle for 11th, and this could be a pretty easy move for Sontag, as Gomez seemingly is struggling, doesn't have the pace, and Sontag is through up into just outside of the points, on the outskirts of the points. Meanwhile, Roke's trying to unlap himself past the Ferrari here, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, and Roke's attempting to, but not being able to do it there. So, as now we look at Roke following Chung through here. Now Chung getting up to Gomez in front, and I wonder if Roke could then make the move past Gomez here afterwards. As we look at Chung now right behind Gomez, and she's going to lap him here, I think, and yes. And I think Roke might actually sneak through on the inside, and he does. Roke does sneak through once again and makes a move up into 12th position. Good work there by George Roke, taking advantage of Chung and the cars on the lead lap there, and managing to move up another position. So good work there by George Roke up into 12th, and now he's got Felix Sontag in front of him, and then he'll be just 1 place off of the points. So, I mean, points are still possible for Roke, despite that collision with Matteo Catalan, so, I can say it's possible. It's still, still stuff could be happening. Meanwhile, we're looking at Catalan, who's battling with Roland Moichin. This is for 15th place. So, as we look now at Willows coming out of the pits for his first and only stop of the race, and it looks like, I say it looks like he's going to the end. Of course he's going to the end. It'd be ridiculous if he went all this way and still had to do 2 stops. So, as we look now at Willows coming out of the pits in P5, so comes up behind Federi, but Federi has to make 1 more stop before the end anyway. Tomaselli, of course, is going all the way to the end. Lopez is going to be pitting once more, so Tomaselli can just let him go. He can afford to let him go, but we'll see if he decides to defend from him or not. So, as we look at Lopez coming through behind Tomaselli, closing up rapidly. See how much he's gaining through the corners, much quicker there. Federi, of course, now having a P4, but pitting, as I said, once again. Don't think Lopez is quite close enough to make a move onto the back straight there, not quite close enough. So look first the order at the moment. Byrne in 8th, Chatfield at the moment, still running in the points. I think he's got 1 more stop before the end. I think so has Kupok. Roke is now right behind Sontag actually for 11th, and actually speak of the devil. This is Roke right behind Sontag as they head towards the first corner. Will Roke try and make a move on the inside of the Williams of Sontag? He's going to go for it. He tries, but Sontag defends hard, and so not going to happen there. And could he get a good enough exit off the corner? He's trying to get alongside the Williams of Sontag, as we've got a yellow flag as Catalan has spun coming into the first corner there. So what happened to him? So it looked like he was battling with Roland Moichin. That was for P15, and Catalan goes into the back of Moichin. Moichin carries on going, but Catalan does spin. So that so that is that. Meanwhile, Nicholas Gao is in the pits for his final stop of the race, and I don't know if Chung has made her final stop or not. I'm not sure she has, and nope, Chung goes by. So Gal will be coming obviously back ahead, but of course Chung, don't know what time she'll be pitting. Meanwhile, Franklin Lewis has received a 15-second time penalty for causing the incident with Armar Carr, so there you go. quite a hard penalty there imposed on Franco Lopez. But of course, Gal will be coming out. It looks like P3 actually, so it comes up behind actually the Red Bull of Gamba, and Gamba will want to just let Gal through here because obviously he's in a battle for the win. Gamba's not in within a shout of getting the win, so Gamba really needs to let Gal through ASAP. Meanwhile, Roke has actually got past Sontag for 11th position finally. Meanwhile, Gal getting a good exit off the corner, but he's going to be able to make it before next corner as Gamba, still defending, coming in towards turn 3, as we're looking now at this was the battle for 11th between Roke and Sontag, and this is Roke going past Sontag, getting a much better exit off the corner and managing to get by, but of course crucially for Roke, he still has to pit once more, and I think Sontag does as well, I believe. Meanwhile, Gal's still stuck behind Gabby. He needs to get past him very quickly here, because otherwise this could work to Laura Chung's advantage. I don't know when she's pitting, but she's probably going to pit in a couple of laps or so, and Chung will be a lot quicker at the end of this race. So as we look now coming onto the straight, is Gal close enough? He's just about in the slipstream of Franco Gamba as they head towards the first corner. I'm not sure he's quite close enough as there's traffic there, as Gal now trying to get past Gamba, but gets stuck behind that Haas coming out of the pits there. That was the worst possible timing there for Nicholas Gal, and he almost swipes in front of Gal right there. I'm not sure who that is. I think that might be possibly Chris Chatfield, I think, as that caught Gal out by surprise. And if he didn't stop, he would have run straight into the back of the Haas there. Fortunately, no harm done. But Gal's still stuck behind Franco Gamba. This is all at the moment seemingly working in favour of Laura Chung at this moment in time. But we're going to have to wait and see when Gamba goes into the pits, and also whether Gal does decide to pass him before going into the pits. But as I said, Gal is not going to be very happy at the fact that he's being held up like this. But meanwhile, we're looking at Catalan. This is him battling with Gabriel Gomez. This is the battle for 13th position, and so he's stuck behind him as they're coming up towards the back straight, coming through now, heading through turn 6, the right hand, then going to head through the fast turn 7 on the straight in the slipstream, and this should be an easy move for Catalan if he can make it stick. I'm not sure there's a pit call for that. Is actually George Roke, who's now temporarily up into 10th position. Meanwhile, nope, still can't make it through. So I wonder if Roke could still possibly have a chance of getting some points here. I'm not sure. It'll be very interesting to see if he can or not after the pit stop, of course. But we're looking at Chatfield at the moment. He's in 11th. He'll move up into the points. Martinez, who I think also has to pit once more. Thomas is still running on his own in 6th, but a pretty solid race for him nonetheless. But as we look at Gamba, who is still ahead of Gal, and is not going to be pitching for at least another lap, or possibly even 2 laps. So he really, really needs to get by him ASAP. He needs to do it as soon as possible, because of course Gal himself, who has not won for quite a while, you have to say, he has not won. He didn't win last season, and the last time he won was actually Canada 2017. So he didn't win last season. He had a troubled season, only just about kept his seat, and this would be the perfect opportunity to repay Helmut Marko by winning this race and showing why he should keep that Red Bull seat. And actually Gamba now finally is pitting, and actually Chung is pitting on the same lap as well. So as I said, Gal will not want Gamba to be holding up him much longer, but Chung will be coming to the pits. I think Chung will still come out behind Gal, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it's probably going to be quite close at the end. We shall see. So Chung now heading towards the last sector of the lap, heading through the long right-hander, and he gets through there. Now coming up towards the long left-hander. I personally really dislike this corner. It's just so infuriating, I think. And now she's coming up towards the final couple of corners on the track, coming through turn 15, 16, and now into turn 17, and now heading towards the pits. Jinx to the right, and she comes. And so now Chung is in, and so I would imagine that she will come out behind Nicholas Gal, but it's going to be close at the end with fresher tyres and all that. So as Laura Chung comes out of the pits, 6.2, that was a pretty quick stop actually. That's exactly the stop that she needed for the first stop, because then if she'd got out ahead of Gal, then maybe they wouldn't be in this situation. But Gamba is in, and Gal has already actually taken the lead, so I thought the Gal would be a lot closer actually, but crucially for Laura Chung, she is going to be a lot quicker at the end of this race. But Frankie Gamma obviously coming into the pits. Chung coming out, of course, in second. So that will allow... I think Joseph Williams will take third position as well, I believe. And yes, and Gamba now down to fifth. Lopez, who I believe was to pit, as Gal actually makes a little mistake there. Gal making a mistake. That's exactly what he didn't need there. Making a small mistake coming on to the back straight there. And that's the perfect opportunity for Chung to gain on him once she gets her tyres up to temperature. That's not what Gal wanted at all. So now we look at Franco Lopez, who's in the pits for his final stop of the race. And of course he's going to be quite low down the order with that time penalty as well, which is not going to help. He might even come up behind Byrne and Federi as well. As we look at Gal, what is the gap actually? 6.4 seconds. I mean, that's easily in with 9 laps left. That's easily catchable. Easily catchable. So Lopez now does come up behind Byrne and Federi there, down in 8th position. Meanwhile, this is the Ferrari lapping the slow traffic here. Meanwhile, Roque trying to get past Gabriel Gomez. This is for 14th. Unable to make it coming through the chicane there. So as they now come off the chicane, heading towards the end of the lap. This was the quite boring part of the circuit, really, where there is pretty much no overtaking, I say allowed, but no overtaking that can be done until you start the next lap afterwards. So I saw the gap actually. Chung to Gal was under 6 seconds. It was 5.9. So the gap is certainly coming down, and I mean, you can say Chung has got the best opportunity here to win this race, really, because she has got the fresher tyres. She could easily catch up, and actually now she sets the fastest lap, 1:29.8. So I mean, she knows what she's got to do, and Gal is not too far up the road. The gap now down to, I think that was about 5.8 seconds, I believe. But now all she's got to do is get past this Haas, and then she is on to Miguel Gal. It's her versus the Hungarian, China versus Hungary, for the win of this race. Now Chung is going to go past the Haas, although the Haas doesn't exactly do a favour. That was Chatfield there, but Chung does get through. So now all eyes are on Gal for the win. So the moment Joseph Williams is going to be in third position, and I wonder if Franco Gamma, after his last pit stop, will be able to close up towards the end. That could be an interesting fight as well. Meanwhile, Titkoff here getting lapped by the Mercedes there. So Titkoff at the moment, who's running in not quite last, second to last. Lincoln Palmer, the one who's running in last position at this moment in time. Meanwhile, this is the battle between the two racing points. This is between Roque and Moitian, and now Roque right behind Moitian is going to make a move into the first corner. This could be very close here. Moitian not exactly giving him much room, and there's almost contact. How they managed to get away without any contact there, I have no idea, but side by side between the two RPs. But I think Roque's got the run, and he's going to have the tyres, and he's through up into 12th position. So that was a good fight between the two. I mean, it could have gone I mean, how they didn't collide there, I have no idea. That was actually, did they? No, for a second I thought they had, but Moitian had to steer a little bit to the right there to avoid contact with Roque. Unfortunately, no harm was done, and that is a blessed relief to both drivers, to say the least. But yeah, so now we're looking at Laura Chung, and what is the gap between her and Gal for the race lead? That is what I want to know. And Kupok doesn't want to know is that he's retiring from this race, and David Kupok, who is set to get some good points for Toro Rosso, and he is out. And a mechanical failure as well, with just 4 laps to go. You really got to feel for the guy. I hadn't seen, I mean, barely saw anything of him at all, to be honest, during this race. But he's, unfortunately, we've seen him now, but we've seen him out of the race. So that is very unfortunate for him. So it was a mechanical failure, and it was a suspension failure for the German there. So we'll see coming through. He was running in 9th on his own, had no one anywhere near him. Chatfield was way off, so he's going to be a very comfortable 9th position. You can see something's not quite right with the left wheel there. It's jigged up, and yep, that is a big problem. And there was actually Miguel Gal, who was not helped by this either, getting held up but behind it. And Chung, as the gap now down less than 3 seconds. We're on the last lap, and it looks like, actually, I thought Chung would really be on to Gal quicker than she was, and it's not happened. it has not happened. I really thought that Chung would be onto Gal a lot quicker than she was, but it looks like Nicholas Gal has done enough and is set to take victory. You can see Chung in the background there, but it looks like Gal has held her off and is set to take victory here at the French Grand Prix, and this will be his first victory since Canada 2017. Of course, last season he had a very difficult season, so close to losing his seat, but fortunately he didn't, and now this is the perfect opportunity to repay Red Bull for their faith in keeping him. So as he comes through the end of the last sector, there's Chung. You can see the gap as he goes slightly up to 2.8. So Chung, despite having fresh tyres, is not able to gain on Nicholas Gal. But as Gal is coming round the final couple of corners through turns 15, 16, and now turn 17, and Nicholas Gal comes down the front straight, and finally, his luck, Nicholas Gal wins in France. Well done. And the first for 2 seasons. Laura Chung second. Joseph Willows set to come across the line in 3rd place. And he'll be pretty... I mean, that's, to be honest, that's about as best as he was going to get, really. I don't think he was going to get much better than that. So he comes across the line in 3rd. Frankie Gamba set to come across the line in 4th position. And Tomaselli set to come across the line in 5th. Gamba there in 4th. Chatfield takes 9th. Good points position for him. Catalan 10th. Roke just missing out points in 11th. Tomaselli, I mean, solid result. 5th position. That is... He couldn't really have done any more if he tried. And that's about as good as he was going to get. 5th position. So as he comes across the line, he'll be very happy to take 5th place. Moichin 12th. Sontag just behind him in 13th. Federi 6th. Solid result for him as well. Lopez 7th. But he's got the time penalty, so I wonder if he'll still finish 7th. Martinez was 14th. Gomez was 15th. And so as we look at Byrne coming across the line in 8th position. So he'll be pretty happy with that. Byrne getting some decent points. Shame that for Jay McKenzie, his luck is just... it's just no luck for him at all. And Lean Cabana comes across the line in 60th. Titkoff last in 17th position. And there we go. Race over. Miguel Gal, your winner. And he'll be very happy to see this. But Miguel Gal winning the French Grand Prix. Had Laura Chung in 2nd. Joseph was Frankie Gamba 4th. Palino Tomaselli 5th. Federi in 6th despite his penalty. Evan Byrne does move ahead of Lopez due to that 15-second time penalty after 7th. Lopez in 8th. Chatfield 9th. And Catalan completing the points in 10th. Roke just missing out the points in 11th. Chung setting the fastest lap and getting that 1 extra bonus point. Moichin 12th, Sontag 13th, Martinez 14th, Gomez 15th, Campana 16th, Titkoff 17th, and David Kubok still classified despite retiring with a suspension failure. With Armar Carr, Jamie Kenzie, Gerard Fosbury, and Karosima de Rosa not finishing this race. So now we'll take a look at the driver standings and the constructor standings after France, and Lopez still leads, but by just 3 points to Joseph Willers in 2nd position. That is very close. Nicholas Gal in 3rd, moving up to 3rd, with Laura moving up to 4th ahead of Armar Carr. Frankie Gamba in 6th, Tomaselli 7th, Moichin 8th, De Rosa 9th, Federi moving up to 10th ahead of Matteo Catalan. So that is the top 11, that's the first half. The second half, Evan Byrne moving up ahead of Gomez and McKenzie into 12th. Gomez down to 13th, McKenzie 14th, Sontag 15th, Chatfield 16th, Roke 17th, Kupok 18th, Fosbury 19th, Titkoff 20th, and Lean Capan and Rosetta Martinez, the only 2 drivers yet to score a point this season. So now the constructors, Ferrari leading, they now move ahead of Mercedes by 9 points. Red Bull, they're closing in the distance. We could still see a 3-way battle for the constructor standings championship at the end of the season. McLaren in 4th, Racing Point in 5th, just ahead of Alpha by 1 point. Toro Rosso 7th, tied with Renault actually on 26. Haas 9th, Williams 10th, and Manor the last team. And Nicholas Gal, no surprise for winning that race, was given the driver of the day. So there we go. That was the French Grand Prix. A pretty entertaining race, you have to say. And we will see you for the next round, the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you there.